leading in that direction and ran. The mine was pitch dark aside from the custom-made lamps that kept the light-sensitive spiders from overrunning the main tunnels in the miners' absence. Placed intermittently, the lamps poured pools of blue light onto the floors and walls, so it felt like she was sprinting underwater. Occasionally she had to pause to listen, and twice she had to retrace her steps after ending up at a dead end. When the girl's voice wavered, becoming almost inaudible, Aurora stood waiting, unsure which way to go. She heaved a sigh of relief when the girl continued singing with renewed vigor and raced to follow the tenuous link. This led her to a disused section of the mine where danger signs warned of a collapse and old mining equipment barred the way. Aurora made a gap, took one of the emergency lamps from the wall, and pushed on into the rabbit warren of dark passages. It was as the singing died away that Aurora found the locked door behind a sheet of rusty metal. She made short work of the lock, but to her frustration the door wouldn't budge. Something barred it from the other side. She pressed her ear against the door but heard nothing through the thick metal. Spotting a vent high on the wall, she climbed up to listen and heard the faint sounds of a woman crying. Aurora briefly considered breaking down the door to get to her, but there was no telling what was on the other side. Besides, she didn't want to alert every guard in the vicinity. There had to be another entrance. Aurora sat down cross-legged on the stone floor and consulted the map in her head. She'd had a rudimentary idea of the layout of the mine before she entered, and in the 2 days she'd spent crawling around inside had added a lot more detail. She knew she had to be close to the top of the mountain where she'd seen the lookout towers and the heavily guarded buildings. That area and the preceding 3 floors were restricted. None of the miners and only select guards had access. She had assumed it was because that was where the harvested Ethian crystals were kept, but now it seemed that wasn't the only reason. If her suspicion was correct, an access tunnel ran from one of the buildings up top to this barred room. There was only one way to find out. Aurora got up, put her hand against the metal door and whispered, "Hold on, whoever you are. Help is on the way." It took Aurora almost an hour to work her way through the barred floors with their numerous locked doors, and to check the buildings up top to find the entrance to the hidden area. She was frustrated with her slow progress, but it couldn't be helped. Lights burned brightly despite the late hour, and there were guards everywhere. There was a heated card game underway in the kitchen, and she caught a change of guard in progress. Slow minutes ticked past as she watched from hiding, while men grumbled to each other about the miserable weather and traded insults as they ambled out to go relieve their buddies in the watchtowers. She had to hug the shadows on the windy roof, where huge spotlights burned into the stormy night, illuminating the sky, the sides of the mountain, and the miners' huts far below. By the time she made her way down the stairs to the hidden area, Aurora had begun to second-guess herself. What if she'd read too much into the girl's sad song and crying? She had overheard many conversations while sneaking around in the mine, and not once did she hear anything that gave her the impression the miners knew of a cutter's den. She could be wasting her precious time because she jumped to the worst conclusion. Perhaps instead of being a prisoner, the avian girl was the lover of the mine manager or owner, and the two had had a fight resulting in her bursting out into tearful, melodramatic song. That seemed unlikely, but if she went through all this trouble to rescue the girl, only to find her in the throes of makeup sex, Aurora would be tempted to bite her. Midway down the staircase, she paused to consider her options. There was a door on either side. Which one to check first? She cautiously opened the door on the right and found a small apartment containing a tiny sitting room with a vent that drew in fresh air from outside, a bathroom made up of a chemical shower and toilet unit, and a bedroom set into a small alcove. Entering the bedroom quietly, she found a scrawny, middle-aged blonde man asleep on his back, no naked avian lover beside him. His breathing was deep and even, his arms and legs thrown wide as he sprawled on his comfy bed, surrounded by plump pillows under a thick bedspread, while a small lamp in the corner bathed the room in a bluish glow. On the desk next to his bed